UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath is in Delhi and will be meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi today. This comes in the backdrop of criticism within the UP BJP of Adityanath's handling of the COVID pandemic and the BJP's performing poorly in the Panchayat polls. The Delhi visit is part of the Chief Minister's effort to reassert control as he faces unprecedented dissent and a worried central leadership. On Thursday, Adityanath had a 90-minute-long meeting with Amit Shah. The BJP brass is deeply worried about the leadership in UP after receiving a feedback from several sources, including MPs, MLAs and state ministers. NDTV Sanket reports.
Yogi Adityanath is in the national capital. He met Amit Shah. He's going to meet the Prime Minister tomorrow. He's also expected to meet the party president. But what really is happening? We've got some inside track on what's happening in the Bharatiya Janata Party. Let's quickly take a look. So Yogi Modi meet. What's really the way out of this UP mess? The information by way of sources, the BJP central leadership is actually worried about leadership in Uttar Pradesh. It is very clear. The central leadership has sourced its information about this, about the situation from several sources, from MPs, MLAs, ministers, the RSS's state leadership, as well as Mr. Dattatreya Hosabale. BJP General Secretary Organization, Mr. B.L. Santosh, too, had submitted his report. All these reports seem to point at some form of resentment and also inability of Yogi Adityanath in taking everyone along. That's the common sense of all these reports. These reports also say that Yogi is inaccessible to MPs and MLAs from the state, and the mishandling of the COVID wave led to these differences coming out in the open. So that's the point that we have got or gathered as of this moment. All right, so what is the possible compromise formula? Let's tell you that also. Yogi will not be replaced as he is the tallest face in BJP, which is something that we have reported. But the party will majorly course correct within the organization and the government. And that will be with the express authority and approval of the Prime Minister as well. There will be an attempt that will be made to make Yogi cabinet and party, the whole structure, more accommodating, because that was the criticism. Central leadership will press for A.K. Sharma to be inducted in the cabinet. Remember, he's a Modi man. He'll be inducted. BJP will attempt to balance the caste equations within the party organization. There is also a possibility of replacing State President Swatantra Dev Singh. He's an OBC leader with perhaps a Brahmin face, so that there can be a Brahmin Thakur coordination right at the very top in the state of Uttar Pradesh for the BJP. But Yogi also has a plan of action. Yogi has come with documents to the national capital. Yogi is expected to present his track record to the central leadership. The CM is also carrying names of likely probables for the cabinet expansion. He is also trying to explain or convince the central leadership that no, there was no problem as far as handling of COVID-19 is concerned. The total strength of Yogi's cabinet is 60. Present strength is 42. There are 18 positions vacant. So there will be discussions on how these 18 vacant positions need to be filled. Yogi is also likely to suggest names for changes in the structural organizational structure, and he's also likely to press hard for not removing the party chief, Swatantra Dev Singh. So that's really the action plan as far as UP is concerned.
Well, let's go across to NDTV's Alok Pandey now for more. And Alok, in UP, they're going to be watching everything very, very closely. It was very interesting yesterday that Yogi had a 90-minute meeting with Amit Shah. And what, as Sanket said, what we do know is there's no, a chance of any sort of change in leadership right now, but lots of changes expected.
Well, Raji, I can say for sure what the BJP is thinking or what is expected, then perhaps I would be speaking myself, so I'm not going to take a guess. But yes, certainly there have been murmurs that there will be changes. The one name that everyone seems to agree on, who everyone says will get a burst in the restructuring of the UP cabinet, is Mr. Sharma. Mr. Sharma is a Bhumihar Haikal, and he is from Eastern UP's Mau. That's home. And the last 2 months for Mr. Sharma have been in UP, particularly in Vat, where he was tasked with controlling the COVID pandemic, which spiraled out of. The jury takes out on how well that pandemic was controlled, so to say. But he's somebody who's trusted by the Prime Minister, and as we know, he used to be a bureaucrat, and he's a trust cadre, was trust cadre of. So that's one name. About changing the party head, Sanket had a set of information. What we know in Lucknow here, what told in Lucknow would say is that the leadership, top leadership that is at present with the party and the organization in Uttar Pradesh may continue the party and the government into the 2022 assembly election. But some important changes, obviously, like said and like you pointed out, will be brought in, and that's why this is there. Otherwise, he would not an unscheduled Delhi to meet the top guns in the BJP and the Prime Minister himself. So yes, something is certainly brewing. What is brewing? For that, I, for one, am not going to take a guess.
All right, Alok, well, we'll have to wait and watch. Thanks so much for joining us with those details. Everybody looking at this meeting that will be held today between the Prime Minister and UP Chief Minister.